Welcome to tonight's live with What's Darla Been Up To. Tonight, it is January 27th. Can you believe that? And currently, we kind of had a heat wave today in here in Iowa. It was 13 degrees above zero. So, fortunately, we've had the sun out, so that makes it feel warmer. And we do have a nice grove to the north of us and then to the west of us that really, keeps us protected from the wind. So I know the wind was a little bit higher today, but the main thing is that we had 9 degrees. It was just, it felt wonderful. And I could see my neighbors. I didn't have to worry about them hiding behind a blizzard. So, but I do want to welcome all of you that are catching me live tonight, or if you're catching the recording. Either way, be sure and leave a comment so that I know that you were watching me, and also let me know where you're from. Tonight's live is going to be a little different than normal. And I'm going to do show and tell because I attended a continuing education class, I'm calling it, that Stampin' Up put on last Thursday and last Friday. It was called a VirtualCardRetreat26. So if you put a hashtag in the front of that, that description, don't put spaces on it or anything, you may find a plethora of other demos cards, other customers cards, just various things. And I better introduce myself. I haven't done that yet because I was so excited to tell you about the temperature here tonight in Iowa. But this is Darla Tweeten, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator from Iowa. And I have been, I don't know if it's been 2 years yet or not doing these lives, but I really do enjoy the coaching part of being a demonstrator and the teaching part. But believe me, after I watched, the professionals this weekend at Stampin' Up, and let me tell you who did the actual card demonstrations. I think you need to know that. So I've got some notes written down here because I didn't want to forget anyone. But would you believe that the CEO of Stampin' Up, her name is Sara Douglas, she demonstrated a couple of cards along with Corey Hancock, Melody. I cannot remember her last name, and I sure wish I did because I'd like to give her the credit. But she's kind of the head concept artist at Stampin' Up. And she's the one that actually created this suite for the retreat. Plus, she designed the 15 cards that we created. Now, keep in mind, she's got a team of other concept artists, so I'm not discounting any of the help that these people have gotten from other people. And then Karen Peterson, who is a former Close to My Heart employee. Now, when Stampin' Up bought out some of the Close to My Heart stuff, they also invited Karen Peterson to join the Stampin' Up personnel, along with a lot of their demos. So we have learned a lot from these 4 people. Let's see, Sarah, Corey, Melody, Karen Peterson, and there might have been one other concept artist that presented, now that I think about it. But anyway, talk about being professional teachers. These definitely are. I see we have 2 people watching. If you could make a comment, let me know where you're from, or let me know if you attended the virtual card retreat along with me. just make a comment so I can tell who's watching here tonight. So anyway, I wanted to add that all of these beautiful ladies, they're teachers by profession. I appreciated learning and watching how they speak as they train. You know, they talk real slow. They talk really clear. Hi, Nancy Dodge. It's nice to have you tonight. How's your weather out there? Share with me how you're doing, if you're doing okay. And let me know if you have electricity. Oh my goodness. I know some places have been really hit hard, and I wanted to I've got my finger here, so I'll come back to what I'm talking about, but I want to extend prayers and thoughts to all of my all of my fellow demonstrators that are going through these unseasonably cold temperatures, that have received rain and sleet and ice, and then along with how many inches of snow. And I think, Nancy, you're one of those people. And Rita, too. Welcome, Rita. Welcome, Dolores. Rita, I saw your husband shoveling all of that snow. And what an amazing man that he was going to go help a neighbor lady with a four-wheel drive so that she could get to where she needed to be. But anyway, my thoughts and prayers go out to all of those fellow demonstrators and customers and people all around the United States. We are prepared for, 7, 8, 9 inches of snow. We've got the equipment, but some of these people down south, they're not prepared for the equipment. Some of those people don't even have the proper winter coats to wear. So there again, hold them in your prayers, keep them in your heart. So what I was starting to tell you was these gals, did I decide, was there 5? Sarah, Corey, Melody, and Karen. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there was 5 of them. I'm going to write that number down there. I don't know if I'll need it again or not. But those 5 ladies are very beautiful inside and out. And they could teach an Eskimo how to make a snowman out of ice, I believe. if you understand that statement. What the other gals on here that have been, watching the retreat, would you agree that that they are very professional? I loved watching how they spoke. I loved how they told the specifics about, okay, the next step is going to be this, and explain it well while they were doing it. And if they made a mistake, they told us about it. And then they also did the, fixed it for us right in front of our eyes. I actually felt that I was right there in Riverton, Utah, completing the card retreat right along with them. They just made it so comfortable. I really appreciated that. So again, I'm having some problems with my comments. I don't know why my comments like to be such a pain and I can't see them, but yeah, Nancy, I can see him now. Thank you. Nancy, hi, Deb. Thank you for joining me. Nancy, I appreciated the banter too, that they, their coworkers, they had planned this big event, and it's a big event. I mean, when I plan an event, I do maybe 3, 4 cards, but they did 15 cards. So darn well that Melody had been working on it for a long time, but it's her baby because she designed that suite. And then occasionally they would ask us, are we still with them? So then they would clean off their blocks or maybe clean up their space so that we could catch up with them, because obviously they knew what they were doing. So there was times I fell behind. I don't know about the rest of you guys, if you could stay up with them or not. But anyway, they cared about us. They knew what they were doing, and they made me feel, like I said, like I was right there in the same room in Riverton, Utah. Now, you know, we know they rehearsed their projects, but they also had to learn how to use various cameras. Just like when we do lives, we have to make sure our camera is set this way. We have to make sure our iPad, the volume is turned down there. So I just so appreciated their professionalism. And I would do it again in a heartbeat. And I want to tell you too that the reason sometimes I fell behind, because I was oohing and awing at the things that they were showing us. They definitely, Melody said many times, she wants to get as much use out of her die cuts and her stamps as she possibly can. She looks at her stamps and her die cuts and thinks, okay, what more can I do with these? And I appreciate that too, because obviously this retreat, it did cost $165, which I think is well worth it. Originally, I kind of wondered and kind of thought, oh, but then I want you to remember that there's 10% rewards that you can earn on this. So that would be $16.50 that would be put into your account that you could use in the future. Also, right now, if you purchase this kit before the end of January, actually, I think it's February 2nd, we have what we call bonus days going on. And you can earn, you know, a $5 coupon with every $50 purchase that you make. So there again, that's $15. So right there, we're at a $31.50 savings. I'm trying to tell you how I did the math on this. So that original cost then went down to $134.50. And obviously, if you're a demonstrator, you know, you get to take 20% off of that. And if you have a rewards account that's built up, you know, I feel I keep my rewards account just accumulating because I want to spend it on a big project, or I want to gift them to my team, whatever I may do. So remember that you could also use your rewards account. So anyway, I just can't say enough about this. And I think once I show you some of the cards that we've made, you're going to also agree with me. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to turn my camera down right now. So thanks again for joining me here. And I am going to turn my camera, which is kind of always a fun little ordeal to do. Oh, you can see my iPad there, can't you? So then I'm going to bring my camera up, and I am going to show my work surface. So there, that went pretty smooth tonight, didn't it? Okay, let's see if it's straight here. Okay, I want to bring it down a little bit so you can't see. Nope, I got to bring it up so you can't see my iPad. Okay, well, that's going to be okay, I guess. I don't want to waste any more of your time because we could fiddle with that all night long, couldn't we? So anyway, then I've got to add my little light here to put some light on the subject. What do you think of that? Okay, so this is kind of my script right here that I was reading about because I didn't want to forget any of the gals that put on that seminar. Peggy, you're saying my music is loud? I don't have any music going. And she said she couldn't hear me very well. Is anybody else having trouble hearing me tonight? If you are, let me know. I'm not sure what I would adjust, but I would try to adjust something anyway. So just a few little handouts that I want to share with you. I did tell you about bonus days already, where you earn them in the month of January. You earn $5 for every $50 you spend. And then, so you'll, after placing your order, you're going to want to be sure and put your coupons in a safe spot. Somebody the other day was telling me, or they suggested putting it in your draft folder. So that's what I did. So when you place your order, your coupon for bonus days almost comes right away after you've placed your order. So try dragging that coupon order into your draft box. Let me know how that works, okay? And then obviously from February 3rd through the 28th, you can redeem your coupon. So you're gonna want to redeem them. Don't forget about them, okay? Couple of things I want to also promote is I have a kids night at Pushing Up Daisies in Clarion. That is going really fun. Our next one, we had to cancel the January 21st one because of the weather. I believe it was cold, wasn't it, Deb and Nikki? I can't remember for sure. Good, Deb. You can hear me just fine. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So, but I also want to promote our first annual card buffet that the Tweet Be Happy team is putting on here locally at our pizza ranch. And that event is Saturday, February 7th. It is an all-day event from 10 to 3. So the Tweet Be Happy team demos that are doing it right now, some more may be added, but right now we have Peggy Miller, Deb Johnson, and Marla Snail. They're going to be having cards there, card baskets. So our guest will come into the conference room at the Pizza Ranch, and they will be handed a goodie bag, which will be worth about $20. And our guests then will use those products during the retreat. Good evening, Carrie, and hopefully the little boys are watching with you. And then, so then they will, kind of get situated at one of the tables. There's going to be plenty of workspace. And then we're going to have a buffet of cards set up, baskets of different cards that each demo has prepared a kit for. So our guest will grab a basket with a card in it they want to take, and then take it back to their table. And they, along with some friends, can put that card together. And then when they're done with that card, then they will go up to the card buffet table and pick up their next card basket, okay? And it is being held at the Pizza Ranch. I'm so excited. This is our first annual card buffet, and I'm hoping it becomes an annual event. So lunch is on your own. Obviously, at the Pizza Ranch, they have a wonderful pizza buffet. So we can go and have lunch there after when we get hungry, okay? Another thing I want to remind you about is I belong to an accountability group called Marvelous Lollies. And the month of January, we had we still have it. I will be emailing those of you that placed orders. I will be emailing you a video and 3 PDFs as a thank you that will come with your $50 product order. So that was in January. And the Marvelous Lollies, we're going to be doing this for 12 months. And a couple of them are on here tonight. I just think the world of those gals. I've learned so much from them, and it is a true accountability group. We all have our own talents, and together we just make a remarkable group. So this is actually a flyer from February to kind of give you a heads up of what's going on there. I should have printed off the January one. Okay, so now let's talk about the Stampin' Up retreat that I attended. I want you to know that the resources in this were really great. Ahead of time, they provided us pictures of the cards that we would be making. And if you have any questions, hi, Beth Ann. Welcome, welcome. Glad you're joining us tonight. Are you getting snowed out? And how much snow did you end up getting, Beth Ann? When you got your kit, there was this card right here that you would scan the QR code in, and that took you to a private Facebook group. So on that, so then I would log into that Facebook group, and that's where I would watch the videos. And the videos are on Facebook for 30 days. They will be moved to YouTube after that. And they'll be on there as long as, you know, their storage capabilities. So there was also an additional supplies list that they provided to us. So, and I wanted to show you, this is one sample of what one of the projects look like. Now this would be, I gotta find my pointer, because as a teacher, you know, you gotta point at things. So as you know, this is card number 5, and this card is called Love You. On here, oh, Beth Ann, you had over 9 inches of snow. Wow. So where do you guys put all that snow at? And so it's not melting yet either. Oh, goodness. Well, earlier I told everyone to you know, lift you guys up in our prayers and our thoughts, because we sure are thinking of you guys. I don't know in Pennsylvania if you have the equipment to move that amount of snow or not. I know in Iowa we do, but in some of these other states it's not normal, is it? So getting back to this photo here, there was one for each one of the cards, and on here it tells us the size of the cards. It tells us, you know, what the card stack was, and then the pre-cut pieces. So before the retreat, we had to prepare all of these cards. So that was very nice of Stampin' Up! To provide that. Also, I want to show you what came in the kit. Now, this is a very nice Ziploc baggie. I wish they had this for all of their DSP. Wouldn't that be nice, you guys, that we had this nice little bag to put our DSP in? But anyway, these are all the extra pieces that I have after I cut out the pieces that they had. So there again, we can get, I don't know, probably another 15 cards out of here. But something neat that they did was, and you can't see it on here because I've already cut them out, but they had trimming marks on the back of the DSP, and it also had the card number on it. So we knew exactly, I made 15 piles, and then I put the DSP, obviously, coordinating with that. So I want to show you the lovely, lovely, they did do some adhesive or some embellishments, some gems. This is called Moody Palette Glossy Dots, and I'm not sure if this is exclusive only to the retreat or not, but there's Cloud Cover, Old Olive, I don't know if this is Secret Sea, it could be black, and then obviously white. So, and look at here, I've completed all the cards but one. I can't remember what number it is. You'll see it in a minute. But look at here, I've only used these many embellishments. So there's a lot left, isn't there? So, wanted to also show you that there was an exclusive virtual card making stamp set. Let me see now here. Yes, this was, okay, I'm confusing myself here. The Forever Florals that came in this kit, they are going to be available in March. Okay. And I tell you what, my favorite die is probably this one right here. It is so magnificent. This die was used on the front of this card, for example. This is card number 1. Now, the concept artist, if you look at this die on this card doesn't look like this, does it? What she did, she had us cut this die in half, And one half of the die is here, and the other half of the die is over here. Would you ever have thought of that? I don't think I would have. I would have thought inside of the box, thinking the only way to use this die was to put it on as this way. So I thought that was exceptional. So getting back to these dies, these labels are really nice too. Like here is one of the labels, and they refer to them as a small, medium, and large. And I believe, I'm not real sure, like I don't have any nails. So this, nope, this isn't the large die. This would be the medium die that we had cut out in advance too. And along with this kit came a whole package of basic white cardstock. Can you believe that? Okay, Rita is saying the embellishments is an online exclusive that came out in March. They are called Moody Palette Glossy Dots. Thank you, Rita. I tell you what, I really like those glossy dots. So okay, so that is our die cuts then, and they've changed the packaging now. So the packaging is only about that thick. Can you believe that? So some people have put both of them together. For right now, I have kept mine separate. But did you notice a tip that I have is I will draw around my dies. So when I go to put them away, I can tell if one is missing or not. And then you always want to make sure that the cutting edge is up. They're kind of overlapping there right now. We'll have to fix that in a little bit. But it's a double-sided tape that holds these on. Okay, so that's the dies, the Forever Floral dies. Okay, you want to see the Forever Florals? This is a photopolymer. Look at there. It's in a thin thing again. And it comes something like this. Now, there is not a... there's not a sheet inside. I think Stampin' Up! Will probably eventually produce it. But what I did was I took my big ink pad, inked it up, and then I put it on just a piece of basic white paper so that I know if I'm missing a stamp or not. So, but look at that huge you're on my mind and in my heart. That was used on some of the cards. Like this would be the outside and this would be the inside. And obviously always and forever and thinking of you. Also, look at here. These are what they call two-step stamping. So you would stamp. I always like to stamp the detail. How about the rest of you on here? Do you like to do the details and then you stamp the other part of the image? I can't think what it's called. The detail and then the major thing that fills it in. But I'll show you that in a little bit too. So the stamp set that was exclusive to this 2026 virtual retreat was the beautiful, it had happy birthday in it, and it's got one of my favorite stamps. And the rest of you gals on here, what was your favorite? I enjoyed, now where'd my take your pick tool go? Okay, I enjoyed this word stamp right here. I'll show you that in a little bit. And I especially liked this texture stamp right here too. And of course, I did like the size of the happy birthday and stuff. So let's get, I think I've showed you all of the contents of this virtual card retreat. And let me just tell you, I want to read this a little bit, that the supply kit, it did contain designer series paper, and it had two-tone cardstock with it, which is something that's new to me anyway for Stampin' Up. That is something that came over from Close to Your Heart. There was two pre-cut sheets, two stamp sets. So the pre-cut sheets were dies that we punched out. And I'll show you those in a little bit too. And then, another thing was the 3-inch by 3-inch foot flaps. Those were so fun to use in the cards. And they provided the medium white envelopes, and like I told you, a whole package of the basic white card stack. And then obviously we had the private Facebook group, and they had detailed instructions. Download easy to follow instructions, and we can enjoy the replays for as long as they can be stored. So let's look at some cards here. So this would be card number 1. In my heart is the sentiment that I used. I'm not sure what they, recommended us use, but because obviously as you went along, you kind of went rogue and you did some different things that just because you like different colors or whatever. So on this one, we did have to die cut. Nope, these were some of the punch out that came in the kit that was on white, and then we had to stamp and then use our blender pens on these to color. And sometimes we would use what they call the bullet end. And a lot of the times we would use the paintbrush end. And up until this point, I wasn't comfortable using the paintbrush end. But Melody and Sarah and Karen and the others kind of gave us some tricks on how to even color. So this is that, and then we stamped them on the inside too, and then we even stamped on our envelopes. Now this is something new too. I might have stamped the flowers and the leaves on the envelopes, but I never would have colored them. And it does go through the envelope, as you can see. So if you do start doing this, you're going to want to make sure that your card is not inside of your envelope. So that's card number 1. What do you think? So I'm not sure which one would be my favorite, but I know there's going to be one. Okay. Oh, this might be one of my favorites right here. Okay. Now on this one, I was trying to think. Okay, on this one, what we did, and I knew I should have kept those dies out. Occasionally, and I believe this was the time here, we would die cut out this large flower, and we would do that on the basic white, okay? And it's very detailed. So what we did was then that, and I believe that's what we did. Nope, that's not what we did. I take that back. On this particular one, what we did is we used this massive die cut here, and we actually cut out around each of the flowers to make it look like it didn't have sides on it. And then we cut them in half at certain points, and then we laid them across this. Before we did that, we did heat emboss, and they suggested that we didn't do it in gold. I didn't have my gold upstairs right then, so I did mine in white. And then I tried to take the crumb cake ink pad and then kind of, make it so it was a little darker, and then I wiped it off. So that was the look there that I got. I liked it. Stamping on some of these flowers to start with were a little hard to do because obviously I was trying to keep up with the presenter. And so the envelope then was decorated with that word stamp. I love that word stamp. What do you guys think of that? Oh, and then it was done down the side too. So that was card number 2, so that it coordinated. Obviously, I didn't finish the inside of that card. I'm not sure what I was supposed to do. Okay, this is probably another one of my favorites, okay? Now, you can see we used this large die again, and we did keep the frame on this one. Remember, on the last one we did here, we would have trimmed off all that frame. And as you trimmed it off, you would make this a pointed leaf, for example. So, yes, I agree, Beth Ann. It is lovely. And Rita, you use the paintbrush end more than not, huh? Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. So we, and then do you see here where there is this berry burst layer underneath of here? Guess how we accomplished that? We put the die backwards on this berry burst two-tone stack. And then, so then when we cut it out, then it didn't match up with the top layer and it's kind of peeking through. Isn't that neat? Another great use of that die. And, you know, we cut out some more leaves and flowers, and then we used, we painted these white, embellishments. We painted them with, what color did we use? I cannot remember. So, and then look at this. So then we also did the envelope. What do you think of that? Colored the envelope again. Actually, what we did was we used the sponge brushes a lot. And I'd like to share with you, I did not realize this either, but when you use these sponge brushes, go around the outside of your ink pad because that's where more of your ink is. So then obviously after you've done that, you want to tap it off on your glass mat, and then you can what's going to hit your paper then is obviously the tip, okay? So then you just go like this. You just and if you want more color then you would put your finger on the head of the sponge brush and just push a little bit more. Now, obviously, when you're doing this envelope here, you're going to want to make sure that your envelope is open and on a scratch piece of paper, or even on your glass mat, because you're going to want to color off of your envelope label. So that's card number 3. Okay, you ready for the inside? Oh. So you open this up, and it goes like this, and then it goes like this, okay? So how we accomplished this was another card that was actually glued to the back of the front so that we could see this grid through the front. Otherwise, it'd been an opening. So that was glued on there, and then we glued the inside of that. So there are actually 3 layers right here. There's the 2 layers of the card and then the card front. So what do you think of that? Decorated that, showed off the DSP, and then continued the party on this one. And somebody suggested this would be cute to put a picture or something inside of. So that's card number 3. So kind of be keeping a tab of which one. Oh, thank you for the love. The hearts. While you're at that, and if you're comfortable with it, if you could like and share this live, that would be wonderful too. Okay, let's go on to card number 4. You can see here where I used those leaves. I did the detail and then did the leaves. I wish I could think of what that is called. What is that stamp? Somebody help me here. Then, so this is another, so these were the pieces that we cut out beforehand. And then when we were taking the class, we would actually die cut right along with them. And this is a piece of masking tape that I use to hold my dies down. And this is masking paper that Stampin' Up sells. So I need to get that off of there because I can reuse it again. But anyway, here's this card here. So this card is kind of neat too. This is a sentiment right here. This is a label. So what we did was we scored it and then it's kind of a little latch to put on this card. Isn't this one beautiful? So this is the DSP. We just stamped some of those little flowers in there in old olive. We did a lot of two-tone stamping, which I love. And this is the big label right here. And we did the die cuts of the flowers and the stems. And then this was another label that was included in our punch outs. And then here is a piece of the twine. Beautiful card, isn't it? So that's card number 4. Let's see card number 5. Oh, this card was a lot of fun. I was thinking I had it upside down. Do I have it upside down? The hearts, I guess, some are going up and some are going down. I guess it's not upside down. So anyway, how do you think this card was done? How it was done was, it's got a layer of Secret C on it. That's a two-tone. Nope, that was just, it's not a two-tone. Excuse me, I hit the camera. Sorry about that. But how did we do those hearts? Okay, this is how we did it. We had this little stencil right here. And so what we did was we, had to tape it down. And obviously, before you even adhered it to the Secret C or the basic white cardstock, you would tape this to your third layer right there. And then what we did was we took our sponges and, you sponged off the majority of it, or, the dark spot. Excuse me, my nose is kind of getting plugged here. I got to breathe, got to slow down. So then you want to gradually, color that. And one of the hints they gave us, and I think Sara did this card, didn't she, you guys? You used a massive amount of sticky notes to make sure that you didn't go. Can you see how I did go over? And can you see how there's some pink? Here's some green on this sticky note. And you can reuse these notes. But after you mask it off with your sticky notes, then you would do it something like this. And you would start out by doing, you could start out with doing any color. I think we did the light one first. So you took that sponge and you did the light. And then you changed your brush and you did the berry burst. And then you did the old olive. And then you removed your sticky notes, something like this. And you could use this stencil on a card too. But I think I'm going to keep it because, I don't know. I don't think we have a stencil right now. So that's how we did those hearts on this card. Isn't that amazing? And then again, we took the stamps and we stamped the flowers on there then. So that was fun to do too. And I think we use Secret C a lot. Secret C is one of my favorite colors. I don't know if the rest of you like that or not. Yes, Beth Ann, we can use the stencil too. That's right. So then I think we emboss this, and you can hardly see that, but it does say love you. Put a bow on it. I'm not sure if that bow is part of the program or not, but we also continued the stenciling inside and on the envelope. So as we were doing the stenciling, we did the 3 pieces. Like you did this piece, and you did this piece, and you did this piece. So it was really quite fast. So, and then you just use those same stamps. So that's card number 5. So what do you think? We could stop right there, couldn't we, with all of these cute ideas? Okay, this is probably one of my favorite ones. When I was doing it, I was kind of freaking out because I thought, I remember doing paper weaving in school, in art class. We'd make placemats. Has anybody else made one of those? Excuse me just a minute. I've got to wipe my nose here. I turned off my little heater here because I thought it maybe would make too much noise. And I think it's getting chilly in here. It's 9 degrees. So, okay. So who has made a pie that has, oh, Deb, help me. We talked about this where, you do weaving amongst the crust. Well, that's what you did with these strips of paper. So there again, these are about 1/4 of an inch. So we had to cut all of these, pieces ahead of time. This was DSP and this was DSP. And then we even cut up some of the white cardstock. We all have basic white card strips, don't we? So this is something that we could surely use. Now, this, I want to let you know, do you guys see that little ridge right there? That was from this stamp set right here. So what we did was we put this in the Versamark and then we sprinkled the white powder on this and we heat embossed all of these strips along with heat embossing the thanks on the card. So you would weave all that in there, and then they also put this gray twine on there. Can you see that? So it was quite fun to do. It took some time because you had to, we used a lot of this Tombow green glue. And that was another thing lattice work. Thank you, Peggy. Thank you. That was another thing that I came away with, was appreciating this glue much, much more than I ever have. That you use just small bits of it and you kind of actually let it get a little tacky with the air, and you can move it around quite easily. So here's the inside of our card then, continuing on there. And then look at the outside. That's something else. I have never put, well, I can't say never because I might have, but I have never put DSP on the outside of my envelope. So they decorated the envelope, the card, and the inside of each card. Okay, I think this was our first card we did. We didn't do the cards in numerical order. So what we did here was we put the DSP on here, stamped the little dots, and then we did some heat embossing here, and then we colored these flowers and then stuck them in between, so it's kind of like arranging flowers. And I don't know why, but for some reason I thought it would be fun to put my I don't know why, but these aren't supposed to be this dark. I can't remember what I did. And also, look here. It kind of fell in the blushing, or let's see, what was it? Bubble Bath ink pad. So that was I think that was about, I'm sure I made more mistakes, but that was my most obvious one right there. So I don't know if you guys noticed that or not, but also here is this texture stamp again that we had used on that other card that was just stamped in Secret C then on the crumb cake paper. So there again, the party continues on the inside. And look at that envelope. I don't know if I've ever decorated an envelope where the stamp would be. So that, I thought that was kind of unique. Okay, this is the card that Darla hasn't done yet. This is card number 8. The rest of you on this live tonight, have you done this card? I think from what I've seen, Peggy Miller, do you remember how we colored the background on this? I think that's what the procedure is on this card. So out of the 15, I have 1 card left to do. Okay, let's look at this card. When I see this card, I think of my grandboys. It reminds me of turtles and dinosaurs and things like that. These are actually labels again that we cut out, and we heat emboss the polka dots on them and use that word stamp on the crumb cake, and that's how we created that card. It was kind of a putsy card because you had to glue you know, the labels onto the crumb cake, and then you had to trim around. But well worth it. Well worth the extra time. I would do that card in a heartbeat. Okay, here's this one right here. Let me see what this one is. Maybe I'm not done with this card either. This is card number 10. It looks like it is a card that we put different strips of paper on. So you had like the stencil where you punched out these little flowers, and we use those flowers from time to time. If I have, I'll point out on some more cards. But and then this is raised up on foam. Oh, let's see what they're called. Why can't I think of them? You know, you could put 25 dimensionals on them, but why not use these little, oh, they're called these things right here. Foam adhesive sheets. They've got the narrow ones, and then they've got the wider ones. I thought that was a fun technique to learn about too. So obviously you can see here where those punched out flowers, then we do finish the front, and there's a sentiment here. So that one, so actually, I guess I have 3 cards that I need to finish. Okay. I believe, nope, this isn't the card yet. Look at this card here. Now, this is a stamp set that was a stamp that was cut in half, I believe. It's this one right here. This large stamp that is part of, let me see. Is that an exclusive? Yes. That is this one right here, the virtual card making retreat. That's not going to be available. It's exclusive to this kit, this big one here. So what we did was we stamped that, colored it, and then we cut it in half. We kind of trimmed around, you know, kind of went between the flowers, and then, so this is one part of where we cut it in half, and this is another part. And I can see I didn't get it real straight there because I can see that berry burst. But we then, you know, it looks like it's put on dimensionals. But before that, this is a part of DSP. And can you tell this DSP is kind of antiqued like? What we did was we took this word stamp and we stamped with crumb cake all over this DSP to give it a different look. I loved it. We also did the words on the berry burst two-tone paper back there too. And then there is a label. There's just so much going on. There's a label cut in half. So half of it's up here and the other half is down there. And then you were supposed to string this twine through the inside back out here. I didn't take time to do that. But anyway, I really thought this card was beautiful. So that would be card number 11. Okay, we're moving right along. We got 3 left here. I hope you're not too bored. I hope you're enjoying this. I got so much out of this retreat. I hope I can remember it all. Oh, here's another card that I haven't finished. Okay, this is card number 12. Oh boy. So you can see here where we cut that large die in half again and put part of it on the card, and then there's more to do with this. And then we it was kind of neat. This is folded back, it's scored, so it's just going to be like that much of the card, and then there'll be probably a label that overhangs on the front along with some flowers. It'll be beautiful. It'll be beautiful. So, okay. So here is, if I had to pick a favorite card, this is probably my favorite card. This would be card number 13. And the reason I love this card is because there was lots of coloring on it. I love to color with the blends. And I don't have this one done either. But I've got the majority of it done. There needs to just be you know, a sentiment and stuff put on the outside. But look at inside of here. Look, look, look. You open this up, and it's got 2 flip flaps. Flip flaps? Yeah, not flip flops, flip flaps. Foam strips. Yes, Peggy, thank you. So on this one then, you folded the DSP and you tucked it inside of here. See, there's room. You could technically stick up. This is like, these were initially made for scrapbooking. You could stick pictures inside of there. You can still do that right there. So what we did was we adhered that to the base card, and then you adhered a piece of DSP over the top of that. So there's no way that that's coming loose. And then you put one label on one side that says "You're on my mind." I'm not really sure. I do know what happened with this. I didn't have my embossing totally done. So if you don't have it totally heated, obviously you can wipe it off. So that's what happened there. Okay, so then "You're on my mind and in my heart." Isn't that just an amazing, beautiful card? Those are made with flip flaps. So I wanted to share that with you. Another piece of DSP on the outside. And there again, there's a little bit left to be done with the front of this. Okay, we're coming up to card 15. I hope you're, what time is it? It is 8:51. Okay, I hope you're enjoying this show and tell. It's giving us so many techniques. It's giving us so many combinations of colors that I never would have used. Now, this is Old Olive, Lemon Lime Twist, and this yellow was, what color was the yellow? Was it Lemon Lolly? No, what was it? Oh, I don't know. Somebody help me out. Well, I can tell you right here. Card number 14. Let's look here at the paperwork, because we could go on to give classes with this. So let's look at the directions for card number 14. It says that we're to use Lemon Lime Twist, Old Olive, and Secret Sea. Okay, so I see the Old Olive right there. I see the Lemon Lime Twist, but that's sure not Secret Sea. But anyway, Anyway, I'm confusing myself, aren't I? And I don't want to confuse you guys. So anyway, this is a different technique of where you would take another stencil, and this time there's circles, and I believe we had to pre-cut these strips of paper, and then you would go in under the back, over, under, over, and then back under. So you did that, alternately all the way down. And then you adhered it to this beautiful cloud cover paper. You cut out some leaves, and then you tucked those into their holes. And I think this was another Sara card. She liked to sew. So technically, there's supposed to be twine that is stitched there with a needle. I cheated, and I just took my marker and made X's along the way. So, and then we did the embellishments. Very, very simple card, but it's beautiful, isn't it? So we did that inside of the card, and then the envelope is just real simple. That's card number 14. So Sara Douglas, the CEO of Stampin' Up, she's on every Tuesday afternoon at 2 o'clock on the Stampin' Up company page. And she normally will come on there and do some stamping and show us some, what I call, she likes, she doesn't really call it simple stamping. What does she call it? But she doesn't do anything elaborate, but it's beautiful. So I'm kind of trying to spread out all of these cards here. But this was just a grand continuing education for me. You know, I have sister-in-laws that are hairdressers. I know some good friends that are PAs. You know, my daughter-in-law used to work at the dentist office. I know she was a dental assistant. All of those professional people have to go back and you get continuing education. I think this is what this was for me. It was continuing education. It kept us current with new products. It kept us, you know, familiar with like die cutting and heat embossing, but they stretched the limits. They showed us ways that were outside of the normal box. So if you have an opportunity, I would highly recommend you get this virtual retreat kit. They are going to be coming out with another one. It probably won't be until fall or something like that. Now, I don't know if I'll do the fall one. I didn't think I'd do this one, and I did this one, didn't I? So I did the scrapbooking one, that workshop, and I just completed this one. Well, I completed it physically by watching it online. Now I need to go back and finish some of the cards. But it was intense, you guys. It was so intense. So it is my recommendation that, I know Dolores, I thought she had a really good plan. She prepped her kit, cut over paper and stuff, and she watched the videos, the live videos, you know, maybe did some coloring or something like that. But for the most part, she watched it and then watched the replays where you could pause and restart, you know, the videos. So let's kind of wrap this up for the night. I want to thank you for watching me on this live. Be sure to like and share my videos. That helps my small business with you know, getting out to others that I exist. People don't know you exist unless you market to them. Remember about our bonus days that are kind of being wrapped up. Remember that I will be emailing to those of you that have made a purchase of $50. I will be mailing you this free creative sweetness, we're calling it. That's got a video and 3 PDFs. I know you're going to love it. And then the same thing will happen February, March, and April. And if you're local to me, please consider coming to my card buffet. I don't know where that little pretty flyer went that I created in Canva. Here it is right here. What do you think? Darla created this. I can't take all the credit for it because in Canva they have templates that you can use, and you know, you just go in and change the information basically. But I want to say a huge thank you out to my Tweet Be Happy team. I appreciate them helping me you know, to put together this buffet card retreat. I want to thank my Marvelous Lollies now, because we merged 2 accountability groups. I want to thank those people for being fantastic. This is why I love what I do. It's the community of people that I have met and that I get to continue coaching and learning right along with. So anyway, I'm going to turn this back up now if I can. And I'm going to turn my light off. And I am going to adjust this camera just a little bit. And I want to just personally thank you for spending some time with me tonight. I hope you enjoyed the show and tell. We won't do that very often, but we will do it occasionally. I wanted to do it with my Christmas cards, but just never had time to do it. So it's almost 9 o'clock. I've been on here an hour. I've taken up an hour of your time. I so appreciate you. Be sure to like and share this video. And if you have a YouTube channel, please consider subscribing to my channel. I'm up to 31 people now. So when I get to 50, then I can record on YouTube and I won't have to worry about, saving, downloading and everything and moving it up to YouTube. So anyway, if there's anything you need, any questions that you have, I will be going back through each and every comment that you've left. I appreciate your comments. I appreciate your interactions with me on this live. And most of all, I appreciate you. You are enough. God bless. See you next Tuesday. Bye now.